And he said, okay, I'm gonna just sit here in the air. Because I know David Robinson is gonna go down.
When you think about basketball, most people focus on the players who can shoot the ball the best and then go above and beyond the call in other areas. But there are plenty of great players throughout the NBA history who were good at other things that made them invaluable as teammates. For example, passing. Passing is something that is essential for a good NBA team, and a team without passing is a selfish one that goes nowhere. And some of the all-time greats were not just great shooters, but great passers. So allow us to show you the top 10 passers in NBA history. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. 10. Michael Jordan.
We're down to 2, now to 1. Here's Jordan. Yes! It is all over.
We're sure some people would disagree with this, but if you honestly look at the stats, Jordan was more than happy to pass the ball as he was to shoot it. In fact, Jordan's unparalleled athleticism was often seen in his passing prowess, and he could dominate the stat sheet in assists and points. Take, for instance, his 29-point, 14-assist effort in a crucial 1993 playoff win over the New York Knicks when no other teammate topped 3 assists. Still, nothing proves Jordan's passing skills more than his performance in the 1991 NBA Finals when he twice dished 13 assists, topping Magic Johnson's total in both games, to lead the Bulls over the Los Angeles Lakers for the team's first NBA title. And of course, he had key passes to John Paxson and Steve Kerr in critical games to seal the wins, and that's selflessness right there. So yeah, Michael Jordan was a passer too. 9. Wilt Chamberlain.
They're making it seem like it's all about money and not about the love of what you're doing.
The greatest passing center in NBA history, Wilt Chamberlain, was many things to many people. But while his scoring and triple-double acumen were incredible, his passing was top-notch too, as the stats prove. A center leading the NBA in assists seems about as likely as a point guard leading the league in rebounds, but that's what the 4-time NBA MVP accomplished in 1967 and 1968 when he collected a league-high 702 assists, averaging 8.6 a game. Yes, a game. His passing ability was on full display in the 1967 playoffs when he averaged 9 assists per game in leading the Philadelphia 76ers to their first NBA title. The playoff run included a 19-assist performance, topping Oscar Robertson's 13 in a victory over the Cincinnati Royals. Sure, he scored a lot of points in those games, but you don't win games by scoring all by yourself. That's why assists are an important stat too, and Wilt had that stat down pat. 8. Gary Payton.
Whatever I did, I wanted to be always a surprise to me.
The Glove got a lot of attention for his trash-talking skills during his nearly 2-decade-long career, but his ability to move the ball was every bit as impressive as his ability to move his mouth. Surprisingly enough, Payton only led the league in total assists once during his career, and never in assists per game, but his consistency was enough to land him at 8th place on the NBA's all-time assists list. The 9-time All-Star averaged at least 8 assists a game in 7 seasons. Think about that. There are legendary players who didn't average more than 5 assists per game in a single season, and yet this guy did more than that in 7 seasons. Plus, the Glove was a rabid defender, even being the Defensive Player of the Year when he helped the Supersonics get to the NBA Finals, where they lost to Jordan, but still. So you have a guy who could defend, get in people's heads, and make sure his teammates got points. This guy did it all. 7. Mark Jackson.
All of the great players during that time that did not have the opportunity to win a championship.
Some may find it surprising that Mark Jackson ranks number 4 on the NBA's all-time assist list, ahead even of Magic Johnson, and only 1 behind third-place Steve Nash. But while that might be surprising to some, those who saw and looked at the career of Mark Jackson can easily point out all the reasons he's in the spot. Jackson was a picture of consistency during his 17-year career, leading the game in assists only once and making only 1 All-Star game, but averaging at least 8 assists per game in 11 seasons. Playing for the Denver Nuggets, he had a career-high 22 assists in a game against the New Jersey Nets in 1997. So while he may not have been the best player, he was the guy you could count on to get the ball to your best players, and sometimes that's enough. Rajon Rondo.
Fast-paced, because I think we're going to take pride in defense, and that's going to get us out on the break. We're going to be able to get stops and clean up the glass.
Let's look at a player who's still in the league now, shall we? Rajon Rondo currently ranks 21st all-time in assists and figures to keep climbing the ladder before he calls it a career. He's led the league in assists per game 3 times and averaged more than 11 per game in 4 of his 12-plus seasons. The four-time All-Star helped lead the Boston Celtics to the NBA title in 2008, but his most impressive playoff passing performance came in 2012 when he averaged 11.9 assists in 19 postseason games. His passing game has shown few signs of slowing down with age, as evidenced by his career-high 25-assist performance for the New Orleans Pelicans against the Brooklyn Nets in December 2017. Plus, his assists and passing game helped lead the Los Angeles Lakers to the NBA Finals this past season and win it. So now Rondo has 2 rings to showcase why he is one of the best passers ever. 5. Larry Bird.
It's really all about the competition. I mean, even today, if we could do something to compete against one another, I'd still like to do that.
Like Jordan, Larry Bird was much better known for his shooting prowess than his passing skills during a legendary NBA career. But few players in history were as deft at finding the open man as Larry Legend. At times, Bird seemed to have eyes on the back of his head, and he could thread the needle to find a teammate streaking to the basket as skillfully as he could drain a three-pointer. Bird ranks only 41st on the NBA's career assists list, but that's still an impressive total for a shooting forward who wasn't his team's primary ball handler. And he will forever own one of the most memorable passes in NBA playoff history, the last-second steal and pass to Dennis Johnson for the win in the 1987 playoffs against the Detroit Pistons. If you still need proof that he was an all-time passer, look up some video compilations about the passes he made. Trust us. You'll believe after watching them. 4. Isaiah Thomas.
Is cheering here for the Bulls right now, and the Pistons as they leave the court.
Love him or hate him, Isaiah Thomas was a boss, and he earned his Hall of Fame spot. The baby-faced assassin was the engine that drove the Pistons' Bad Boys championship teams of the late 1980s and early 1990s. A 12-time All-Star, Isaiah Thomas could slice and dice opposing defenses with both his shooting and passing skills. Thomas led the league in assists per game at 13.9 in 1984-85, the same season he posted a career-high 25-assist performance against the Dallas Mavericks. He ranks 7th all-time on the NBA's career assists list, which says something especially during the bad boy years where they were lauded more for their defense rather than their passing. 3. Steve Nash.
I look back to when I was a young player, and there's no way I knew the things and could do the things that they can do at this age.
If you were doing a list of best players to never win the title, Steve Nash would be on there for multiple reasons. The 2-time NBA MVP made his name with his ability to dish the ball, ranking 3rd all-time in career assists. Perhaps there was no more unselfish player in NBA history. Steve Nash was so inclined to pass the ball rather than shoot it that one of his coaches, Don Nelson, threatened to fine him if he didn't attempt at least 10 field goals a game. You wouldn't hear that in today's NBA. An 8-time All-Star, Nash led the league in assists averaged 5 times, topping 11 per game in 4 seasons. He totaled a career-high 23 assists in a 2007 Phoenix Suns playoff win over the Los Angeles Lakers. He was so good on many facets, it's almost a crime he never got to go to the finals. 2. Magic Johnson.
That's the first time probably in both our lives that we actually sat on the bench. And I don't think neither one of us liked that at all.
Magic Johnson's inimitable ability to move the basketball in electrifying fashion is what earned him the nickname Magic and crowned his 1980s Los Angeles Lakers Showtime. He was a thrill to watch. The only player in history to average more than 11 assists per game for his career, the 3-time NBA MVP led the league in assists per game 4 times and averaged double digits in the category 9 consecutive seasons, from 1983 to 1991. Had his career not been cut short by his HIV diagnosis, he likely would stand today as the league's all-time assists leader. The 4 players ahead of him all played in at least 300 more games than Magic did, which means Magic could have easily gotten that record. But as for who has it, 1. John Stockton.
He did it! John Stockton to Carvalho!
Magic may be magic, but John Stockton was something else entirely. The NBA's all-time assist leader spent nearly 2 decades baffling opposing defenses with the Utah Jazz, teaming with Karl Malone to form the most prolific passing and scoring duo in league history. John Stockton, a 10-time All-Star, led the league in assists per game 9 times, including twice averaging more than 14 per game. He set the single-season assist average record with 14.5 during the 1989-90 regular season. Remarkably, Stockton averaged double figures in assists for 10 consecutive seasons from 87 to 96. And while he never won that NBA title, you can blame Michael Jordan for that. It wasn't because he didn't help his team be great. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at the passers who made their mark in the ranks of the NBA? Which of these players were you shocked by in terms of how good they were at passing, as well as shooting and other things? Do you feel like we missed a key player on this list? If so, who? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.